Hey procrastinators, today I'm officially starting my little mini Christmas series. Sorry there's no fancy Christmas intro or anything. I just don't have time right now. There's so much going on with trying to get ready to move and all that fun stuff. So today I am doing a collab with Renee over at Delaney Jane Cards, and we will be using the same glimmer plates. We're using the Spellbinders Winter Village Glimmer plates. You will see those a little later in my video. I'm starting off doing a, well, I guess it would be kind of a background. You'll see, you saw in my, my finished product pictures at the beginning that this is kind of the card front of my card. So I am starting off with the this was called the Snowflake Sparkle Background Glimmer Plate. And I am using a piece of Tonic's Craft Perfect mirror card in the Tidal Wave. And I'm using the Opal Glimmer foil on this. So I am using my Glimmer machine. There are a ton of videos on how to use the Glimmer machine. If you are not familiar with how you use it, you kind of let it warm up first. Then you put your plate and your foil and your cardstock all on there, plate side up, pretty side of the foil touching the plate, and then you hit the little timer button and you let it warm the plate up. Put your plates on there and then you run it through your die cutting machine. So this is the result that I got. I thought it was really pretty. I did get some smudges on the circle part though that doesn't have the snowflakes, but that wasn't a big deal because I'm going to use this Spellbinders Nestabilities set to cut that circle part out anyway, because that is going to be where I'm going to put my Glimmer Village. So I'm just going to die cut this out real quick. Of course, all my die cutting is done off screen because I have the large Spellbinders Platinum machine and it's kind of awkward to put on screen. It can be done, but it's awkward. Alright, so then I'm just going to use an A2 Matting Basics dies from Spellbinders to cut this down a little bit because I do like to have a little bit of a matte showing on my card. So just going to take me a second to line this up, and then I will run that through my machine as well. I did get it a little off center, but no biggie. It's handmade, not Hallmark, right? Alright, so I'm going to set that aside. Well, no, I lie. I'm going to put it on my deep blue cardstock from Paper Accents. Just going to kind of use that as a guide for where I'm going to do my next foiling. I did kind of tape it on there with a hinge. And then I'm just going to tape my glimmer plates on there as a hinge as well. Slide my foil underneath there so I get that all lined up. And then I'm just going to cut off that excess foil so I don't get a ton of over foiling when I run this through that glimmer machine as well. Just going to cut off that excess, just going to take a second. And then we will put this through the glimmer machine as well with my sentiments, which I'm going to show you here in just a second too. So I will remove that hinge before I run it through the glimmer machine. I was just using that as placement. So I'm going to be using Yana's Christmas Sentiments Glimmer Plates for this. The bigger sentiment there has a coordinating die set. The smaller sub-sentiment does not, but I will use some dies to cut that out. So again, we're just going to put this on the glimmer system. The plates facing up, the pretty side of the foil touching the plates, and the cardstock on top. Hit that timer button, and I do have this sped up so you do not have to watch the whole thing. As you can see, the lights get a lot faster there for a second, and then we will put our plates on top once that light stops flashing, and I will run this off through my die cutting machine off screen. Now it has been run through the die cutting machine, and we will remove the foil and the plates, and I will reveal that pretty foil. Now this I used the Prism foil on because that opal is kind of a clear iridescent, and so I definitely wanted this to show up better on the cardstock. Sorry if you can hear that noise in the background. My cats are going crazy down here. My husband's working in the garage today, and they just have to be a part of something, and so their something is me in my craft room and getting into all of my things, scratching on their cardboard scratcher down here and all that. So I am taking a white eraser on the end of a pencil here and just kind of going over it, removing the little bits that are like inside of an A or an E, inside those windows on those houses and that kind of stuff. And then I did have some overfoiling around my sentiments, and so I'm just lightly taking a sand eraser and sanding that off, so I don't have that when I die cut these sentiments. So like I said, that larger sentiment does come with a die. And then I'm just going to use a sentiment strip die from MFT. Well, I've tried another one first and that didn't fit. So now I'm going to use the Essential Slanted Sentiment strip die from MFT and just tape that down, and I will run both of these through my die cutting machine off screen. So now we're going to get to the part where I start assembling everything. Now that I've got all my pieces, I did have some adhesive from that tape where I hinged the foil plates down, so I did take an adhesive eraser and erase that off real quick. Oh, one more piece. I do have some craft foam here. I want to pop up this piece here, the holographic paper. So I'm just going, or the mirror cardstock rather. Same kind of difference. So I'm just going to take a piece of craft foam, and I'm going to take a bigger circle die than what I used on the mirror card, cut a hole in the craft foam, that way I don't have to line it up exactly perfectly. And I'm just going to take some score tape and adhere that to the craft foam, so I can adhere my craft foam down to my card panel. And then I'm also going to take some of the Distress Collage medium and apply that to the craft foam as well once I get the score tape all adhered. I find that that seems to work better for me with craft foam, is to use both a dry adhesive and a wet adhesive. The dry adhesive will grab right away, and the wet adhesive will hold longer over time. That's what works best for me. If you find something else that works better for you, by all means use that. So now I'm going to use the wet adhesive, like I said, and I will apply that to my mirror card back. And then I will apply the whole thing to that blue piece that has the Glimmer Village to it. I did, craft foam will stretch a bit when you run it through the die cutting machine, so even though I had figured out that this piece would fit, I forgot that it was going to stretch, and so I did have to cut it down a little bit right here before I added it to my panel, because it did squish and stretch a little bit. So I'm just trimming it down real quick, and then I will get it added to my panel here. So as you can see, because that circle piece is larger than the one on the mirror card, I don't have to fuss around with making sure that everything fits perfectly. I can just add it as long as I get the edges of the mirror card. As long as I'm within the edges of the mirror card, everything is going to be just fine. So now I'm just going to remove the release paper on the back of the craft foam, add some of that liquid glue, and then we're going to add that to the blue piece there, making sure that I am fairly center, not all wonky. And then I will have my panel adhered, and everything will look nice. I've got those houses centered up in the circle, just the way I want them. And because I use the A2 matting layers dies to cut both pieces, both the mirror card and the that blue piece that I matted on, that kind of gave me a guide as well to make sure that I had everything lined up when I put those pieces together. So I did cut some extra blue cardstock for my Merry Christmas sentiment, so I am going to layer that up. So I will have that 4 thick, 3 without the sentiment on there, and 1 with that foiled sentiment on top. I did not stack up the sentiment strip that says all is calm, all is bright. I just left that as one. Part of the Merry Christmas sentiment is going to hang into that open circle there, so I wanted to make sure that it was nice and sturdy when it went through the mail. That is part of the reason why I stacked it up, plus I just like dimension, so I figured it would look nice stacked up as well. So I'm just going to adhere the sentiments on there with some liquid glue. I am using Nuvo Deluxe Adhesive for this, where I used the collage medium for the foam, because I feel like that works a little bit better with foam. But I am just using the Nuvo Deluxe to adhere the sentiments down to the mirror cardstock. So the last step here is to just take my card panel and adhere that to the card base. Oh, I lie. I forgot about the gems. So I am going to take some of that collage medium because it dries completely clear and matte. I'm just going to adhere a few of these gems in the center of the snowflakes. I found some nice dark blue ones in my stash that were small, and I felt like they were perfect for this project, so they don't distract too much from the foil and everything, and they're not like, wow, look at me. Because we already have a lot of wow, look at me on this card with all the foil and the mirrored cardstock, but I thought that they added a nice little touch to the card as well. So just going to add a few of these, 3 up top in that top left hand corner and 3 in the bottom right. And now we're going to add our panel to the card base. It is going to be just slightly smaller than our card base, so it will leave a nice white border around my card panel, which is something that I like on my cards. And then that will finish up our project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Don't forget to go to Renee's channel and check out her project with the Glimmer Village hot foil plates. The link for her video will be in my description box below. And as always, have a great day.